just got in the studio and I just started screaming. I was like, I just want to break, you know.
Welcome to another episode of Foreplay. I am here with Ferg Berserk.
Growing up in Atlanta, you know, like being around like the birthplace of trap music and everything, you know, growing up here, influenced by like T.I., Luda, like Thug and everything. My aunts loved like listening to T.I. and stuff every time I would go over to their house. So, you know, I grew up around trap music. So, yeah.
So, would your influences be more so metal and trap as a blend?
So, yeah. So, kind of how I got into music was I started out rapping. And over time I realized like that's not really how my voice was, like that's not really how I sounded, how I wanted to express myself through music. And so going through like sort of my influences and all that, like I had always been really into metal music, especially getting into like high school around like 16, 15. Yeah. And it just made sense to me, like, okay, if I'm gonna make music, I'm gonna make it my voice. And so I blended the two together. And so so influence-wise, yeah, I'd say, yeah, like I've got a ton of like rap and hip-hop influences, but also like, I mean, my favorite band is Avenged Sevenfold. Like I love Slipknot, like Machine Head, like all of them. So all those metal and like hard rock influences come through my music as well, yeah.
I love that. So like, do you have any dream collabs from those artists or any other artists?
Yeah, I mean, obviously like, let's think of a couple. Dream collab of mine, Tim Henson, the guitarist from Polyphia, an absolute demon on guitar, bro. Denzel Curry, Zilla Kami are two like prominent rappers. Zilla Kami, one that I take a lot of influence from. T Grizzly, Duke Deuce, those some as well. Yeah. Duke Deuce kind of newer on the scene, but I love his style, man. Yeah. I worked with this producer, his name's Casco Crazy. He's part of a producer collective called Neela World. And I just met him. He was a cool dude, sent me some beats. And I heard it and I was like, man, like, this will make me feel like I want a break song. And that's exactly how the song came out to be. You know, I just got in the studio and I just started screaming. I was like, I just want to break, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just like high energy, man. Like, really the best way to listen to it, you gotta come out to one of my live shows and see, jump in the pit and everything, you know.
Yeah. That's when do you have a live show? Do you have one coming up?
Yeah. So I've got a couple shows that I'm still putting the logistics around, but I know for sure I got one April 19th. Okay. So y'all better pop out. Yeah. Be on the lookout. For sure.
Awesome. So like, what's the vibe of your show? Is it more like a rage room type of vibe, or like explain that? Okay.
So I'm really excited for April 19th. It's called Glitch Pit. Ooh. And it's the first event that I'm actually going to be headlining and throwing myself, believe it or not, y'all.
I love it.
Wow. And the whole vibe is taking like that like hip hop, like metal fusion sound, that punk influence, but then also mixing like electronic kind of like breakcore kind of vibe artists as well, hyper pop as well. And so we've got like a ton of dope artists on the roster and everything. Just overall, just make a hell of an experience, man. Just going crazy, yeah.
So like, have you met any of your fans in person yet?
Interesting. It's an interesting question. It actually really baffles me sometimes when I just like walk around and there are people that like are like, oh yeah, you're Ferg Berserk, yeah bro, like I listen to your music, and I'm like, I've never met this person before in my life. Yeah. It actually like, it makes me like so like validated, you know. Yeah. Like so proud to see like what I've built, you know. And it's really encouraging. So yeah, I have met like a couple people. I guess you could call them fans. I don't like using the word fans, but yeah.
What you gotta name your fans?
Berserkers, man. You got to.
I love that. You know, I think it's important as you're growing your brand and growing as an artist to, you know, name your fans, give them a quality show. So we can't wait for, it's April 19th.
April 19th, yeah.
Exactly. So as far as like your music goes, when you're in the studio, like what is your creative process to kind of get you in that zone?
Okay. So the way I go about making music, it's really it's really specific to each individual song, you know. I'll have songs where I write the lyrics first and take it to a producer to make a beat. I'll have songs where I'll write some of the chords and some of the melodies, and I'll be like, hey, like, come help me finish this. I'll have songs where somebody sends me a beat and I write lyrics to it.
Very, very collaborative.
Yeah, it can be collaborative. It can be spontaneous. It can be songs that, you know, I have songs that I'm still working on from like years back that I'm just over time just like perfecting and getting exactly how I want it to sound. So I think it's a case by case sort of basis. Yeah.
Do you plan on pioneering this sound, or is this sound existing already?
There's definitely artists that have done similar stuff to it. Absolutely, you know, Zilla Kami, who I take inspiration from, people like Pod, Linkin Park even, you know, like some of those like 2000s bands, but the thing about the way that I do it is I don't think anybody's doing it like me, you know. I don't think anybody's giving it really the approach that I have to fusing these two genres together.
And your approach is more so
not necessarily at those bands, but a lot of people that I see attempt to do it, they go heavy-handed from one side or the other, right? They're like a rapper that tries to take like rock and metal influence, or they're a rock band or a metal band that starts rapping, you know? But truly, like, I've done like deep dives into like various different genres of hip-hop and various different genres of metal, you know, taking like specific like metalcore genres and fusing them with like crunk, for an example, like on Go Berserk. Like that was the whole approach to that. And so just, I feel like my approach comes from a real deep appreciation from all music, really.
I love that. Don't we all love that? I don't know. I love an artist who's really an artist. I think a lot of times in this day and age, everybody's kind of like, not everybody, but some people are just very, here you have something and that's it. They don't really have any influence or want to have any influence. So it's good to hear that. Yeah,
I mean, like music changed my life, you know? Like, it's all I can ever see myself doing, and I love it. So, yeah.
So, like, with your style, how did you come into your style? Like, have you always been so expressive, or did you kind of like bring that into now?
Okay, so funny enough, no, the first time I went to college, I actually went there for accounting.
What?
Believe it or not, yeah.
Money man.
I was all about the digits. I was all about the numbers, but man, I hated it.
Really?
I hated it. I got there and I just somehow ended up in the position where I was like, man, I hate everything that I'm doing. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
Wow.
So, you know, after dropping out and taking a second to really like reconvene, you know, I really started looking inward, really started trying to reevaluate my decisions, reevaluate like who I am and who I want to be. And from there, I started expressing myself through music. You know, I tell you, I have no musical background before like 2019. I've never played no instrument. I've never played an instrument. First time I really recorded a song at all, it ain't even out, but was probably, like 2019, 2020.
What?
But I was just so dedicated to it, to learning it, and that was how I was able to express myself. And then from there, I started getting like real interested in like things like fashion, things like, you know, visual arts and like video editing. I started learning like Premiere Pro and stuff, and that's a new little side project I got going on.
Wow, that's like what advice do you give to people who feel like they hate whatever they have going on right now? I mean, you know, because you took like a whole 360.
Yeah, no, I took like, it took me like a year and a half to go back to school, and now I'm studying like music production and everything. But advice for it, one, like you really should take a break from your situation and like retreat and really think about why you're doing the things that you do. You know, what really motivates you? What do you want to be doing? And then once you really have an answer to that, once you have an answer to who you want to be, I mean, it takes two things. You gotta love what you're doing, and you gotta be dedicated to getting it done.
Exactly.
You know?
I love that, because I'll be honest too. You know, we actually met at Georgia State, and you know, I saw you before, you know, you got all the way into it, but you always talked about, you know, loving metal and loving music. And it kind of inspired me too, you know, just hearing your story about, you know, just getting into music. So it took me like 3 years to come back to school.
Yeah.
And now I know what I'm supposed to be doing, honey.
No, exactly. You know? Yeah.
It just takes time, you know, and I think that was some really great advice, you know. Yeah. So tell me what you are most excited about for this year coming up.
All right, so absolutely, I'm excited for Who Gonna Stop Us, man. You know, y'all need to hear this song. Trust me, y'all need this. I ain't gonna tease too much about it, but actually, we working on putting together a band for some live sets too.
Wow.
Yeah, me and one of my producers, Raylo, shout out him. We've been working on some live sets, so you can stay tuned for that sometime around like November, December.
Yeah.
April 19th, my first headliner, my first event that I'm throwing, man. Glitch Pit, y'all head out, see us at Glitch Pit. Follow me on IG for more updates on that. But yeah, FERG_BERSERK. That's me.